Okay, well, welcome to Reprogramming Your Chakras for Turbulent Times. I'm really excited that you're joining us. Let me just move my screen here. Hang on, let me just fix that. There we go. So over these 4 days, we're going to be doing a lot of really powerful energy work. Today, we'll be doing some basic things to clear blocks and resistance to reprogramming and activating your chakras to be able to thrive in turbulent times. And we'll be working with some of the lower chakras. Then over the next few days, we'll be working on different parts of the chakra system. We'll be working with at least 12 chakras, probably a lot more than that. So we have a lot to do. So I'm going to have a sip of tea and I'll be ready to go. Whether you're in Zoom or Facebook, if you please just say hi and put where you're joining us from in the chat. That's always kind of interesting to know where everybody's joining us from. And if you're on Facebook, I will read the Facebook comments later, but I'm not able to see them right now. I'm only able to see the Zoom. And for the people that are who upgraded to the VIP level, on Wednesday, we'll have an extra half an hour for the people that are on Zoom. So if you can make it, it'd be great. If not, that recording will also be available. If you're on Facebook, the recordings will be available for 24 hours. If you're on Zoom, you've paid, so you will be getting copies of all the recordings or access to all the recordings. And I'll probably leave today's Facebook one on a little longer than 24 hours so people can still join us who are joining a bit late. But after that, it'll be just 24 hours. The other logistical thing is the Facebook page will be turned into a private group tomorrow. So if you're not registered, you won't have access to it anymore. Okay, so that's all of that stuff out of the way. So now that that's done, take a couple easy deep breaths. We have a lot to do today. And let me put the frame around this before we start doing the energy work. A few years ago, pre-COVID, I used to be amazed at how many people acted like life was such a burden and how horrible and difficult it was. And I would talk to people about how so many things in the world were better and that there was just sort of a lack of appreciation for how things, how great a lot of things are. Well, the last few years, I don't say that anymore. Not that these are historically more challenging than a lot of times in history and less challenging than many times in history, but things, as you all know, have gotten harder and much more challenging. There's economic ripples moving through the world and nobody's sure what's going to happen. There's the war in Ukraine. There's wars, plenty of wars going on. There's a lot of dire situations in Africa, from wars, from starvation, from climate change. The whole employment picture may be changing. It was getting better and better. That may be changing. So, we have inflation. We have on and on and on and on. And again, if you look historically, many times have been a lot worse than this. But these are really challenging times. And I believe, I don't know if you believe, that this is part of a great transformation going on in the human consciousness. And it's very common when these great transformations go on for things to get worse before they get better. And so, I'm sorry, I got distracted by something on my screen. Let me repeat that again. So it's very common, it's called healing crises. Then it is a healing, it's a positive transformation, but it can be very difficult and disturbing. It's a lot like when somebody is sick and gets a fever. A fever is part of the cure. A fever kills bacteria, and at the same time, the fever can kill you. So a healing crisis is like that. It can seem really difficult, and it can be really difficult. And even though it's heading someplace really positive, how do we thrive during these turbulent times? And this is really important, not just for you, but it's important for the whole world. The kind of people that are attracted to a program like this and are attracted to energetic NLP are people that want to make their lives better, but they also want to make the world a better place for all of us. And the world needs people like us to step it up, to go to higher vibrations, to clear some of the old blocks and limitations, to manifest more of the vast spiritual being that we are into this human life. Because every person who does that is helping to grow, evolve, and change the whole collective consciousness of humanity. So whether you realize the things you're doing in the world are important or not, they are really important. On the inner level, there are billions of people who want people like us to do this work, to keep evolving and opening it. Because everyone who does that makes it easier for the people behind them. So we're going through paths that other people have created, and then we're widening them, we're making them different, we're adding new paths. Other people will be following us. It's a lot like if you've ever walked in deep snow. The first person, it's pretty hard. It might be fun, but it's pretty hard. The second person, it's easier. By the 10th person, you're starting to have a path through the snow. And we're all creating a path through spirituality, personal transformation, and consciousness. So I do want you to know that you're a very important part of this, which is why I'm doing this program. Now, part of the problem is it's not just that the world is changing at this astounding rate, and it's going to only get faster. Technology is not going to slow down. All the social trends are not going to slow down. We have to have the ability to adapt, to move, to take ourselves through these experiences in such a way that we thrive. And believe me, there are a lot of people thriving incredibly well right now, incredibly well. So, and I want you to be one of them. And you can't do that if your chakras are being run by programming that came from your childhood, that came from past lives, that came from your ancestors, that came from your parents, that came from society. We really are in a new age. This is really a new time. And we have to be able to let go of the old programming, not because it's bad or wrong, but it doesn't fit anymore. It just doesn't fit anymore. And it's causing us to constrict, to have more problems than we need to have. When you reprogram, reactivate your chakras, then all kinds of things open up. And I'm not saying that you don't have any challenges. That's not a human life. Maybe for a couple of human beings on the planet, but challenges are part of the human condition. But there's something the Dalai Lama refers to as natural suffering and what he calls unnatural suffering. And natural suffering is we're in bodies, the people we love are in bodies, things happen. You know, we're in a physical, we're here as physical beings in a physical world. There are challenges, things happen, that's part of life. But a lot of the suffering that people have is what he would call unnatural suffering. And what that means is it's being created by your karma, by your spiritual contracts. It's being created by unconscious programming, limiting beliefs that are both conscious and unconscious. So over these 4 days, we're going to do a lot of clearing out of old beliefs, old programming, old concepts, and then you'll allow your own spirit and your own inner wisdom to reprogram it. So you don't have to think hard. We call these energetic NLP energy spas. And the reason we call them that is because it's a lot like going to a spa. If you want to get a massage, all you have to do is set your intention and give permission and pay. Set your intention, give permission. And then if you pick the right masseur, they do the magic. And your job is to relax and let it happen. In the same way, your conscious mind in these 4 days is going to set your intentions, give permission. You're going to very quickly here be learning how to put your spirit and your deep inner wisdom in charge. And this is really, really, really important. I'm a great fan of the conscious mind. I love my conscious mind. I love your conscious mind. I'm actually a very logical person. I managed a research lab for the University of California Medical School in San Francisco for 11 years. You know, I always loved science since I was a little kid. And I love logic. But even when I was a little kid, I knew there was something beyond logic. there was something mystical. There were things like telepathy and ESP, but there were all these powers of the unconscious mind. And I didn't know how to activate them, though I started learning, but I didn't know how to activate them, but I knew they were there. I just knew it. And in energetic NLP, some of what we do, which is why I'm talking right now, is for your conscious mind is very logical. But if you keep your conscious mind in charge of this reprogramming, you're going to get this much out of these 4 days. Your conscious mind is only as good as the data that it has. Your chakra system is way more complicated than most people explain it. First of all, you don't have 7 chakras, you have a lot more than 7. And people debate how many. Some people say you have 15, some people say you have 144, some people think all the acupuncture points are little chakras. And we don't have to figure all that out. But the thing is, there are more than 7 of them, and they're not all in your body. Some very, very, very important ones are in your energy field above your head. Some very important ones are in your energy field below your feet. And what we're doing over these 4 days, this is not a class. This is not learn about the chakras. Your chakra looks like this, it's this color. There's, you can go on YouTube and get a ton of information on that. And a lot of it's very valuable. The problem with approaching it that way, there's a lot of advantages to approaching it that way that I honor, but there are problems too. And the problems come from the fact that our chakras don't fit those neat little systems. When I look at somebody's chakras, they're multidimensional, they're complex, they're dynamic. They don't look like the pictures that I see of them. Now, your conscious mind can't process what I think is the reality of your chakras and your whole energy system because it's multidimensional, because it's complex, because it's moving, it's dynamic, because everything's affecting everything, because it's one system. So in energetic NLP, sometimes we get in and we're being very logical about it, but most of the time we do the opposite. Again, you set your intention, you give permission, and then you let your spirit and your inner wisdom take charge of what happens. So my job is to get the energy flowing. Your spirit and your inner wisdom will decide what to do with it. And your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom know everything about your chakras. They know everything about your energy system. They don't need your conscious mind to micromanage it. They do need your conscious mind to set intentions and give permission, because that's part of the function of your conscious mind. But how it happens is something that you need to leave to your spirit and inner wisdom. Most of the things you do in life, you couldn't do if you were thinking about it. I was in a program once, and they had us get on our hands and knees and walk across the room. And then they had us do it again, only this time they gave us instructions about how to do it, and everybody had trouble doing it. And the instructions they gave us was exactly the way people walk on their hands and knees. They were telling us to do exactly what we'd already done, but because we were thinking of it consciously, we were getting confused, where our unconscious minds knew how to do it and learned how to do it a long time ago. So that's a physical analogy to what we're talking about here. So again, your conscious mind sets intentions, give permissions, but beyond that, so take an easy, deep breath. And again, hide everybody who's on Facebook, hide everybody who's on Zoom. Again, those of you who are in Zoom, you can put comments and questions in. If you want me to be able to read them, you have to make them really short, because I'm not that good at multitask. I can't be reading your questions and running the program. So if it's not short, it just won't get read. Those of you that are on Facebook, I will be able to read what you say later. So the outcome of these 4 days, again, is that you thrive in turbulent times, that you're happier, that you're more successful, that you're healthier, more vital, that you have more love in your life, and that you're making a very positive difference in the world just by the changes you're making in your own energy system. Because as I said before, every person who does it makes it easier for other people to do it. And on an inner level, people notice. And they may or may not follow your example, but on an inner level, they notice it. And again, I want to say it's an honor to be with all of you, because the kind of people that are attracted to this kind of work are people that want to improve their own lives, the lives of people that they care about, and to make the world a better place for all of us. Okay, check my notes. All right, so we're going to get started on the energy work real quickly here. And I will remind you again, though, that the videos will be available on the Facebook page for 24 hours. So this first one I'll leave on a little longer. And then they're off. If you're on Zoom, you will be getting access to the videos in the future, once we've edited and make them available. Okay, so let me explain a couple of concepts. We'll create what we call your miraculous self, which I think you're really going to enjoy. And then we're going to get into the energy work. We're going to be clearing blocks to thriving today. We're going to be clearing blocks to reprogramming your chakras, because there'll be programming inside of you, both unconsciously and energetically, that tells you not to reprogram your chakras, that wants you to just keep everything the same as it was. That all of us have that in us. And that's a good part of ourselves, except for when it gets in the way. And then we'll be working on the base chakra, the root chakra at the bottom of the spine, and 3 chakras that are below your feet in your energy field. And again, you don't need to think a lot about what do they do, what they are, but I will just mention briefly, the ones below your feet have to do with your connection to animal life, plant life, and a much deeper connection to the planet. And we're doing that today because in the following days, we're going to work with higher and higher energies. And I want to make sure you can be really grounded. So part of what we're doing today is increasing your ability to work with higher energies and still be grounded. And that doesn't mean you may not get a little spacey at the end of each day. And at the end of the session, it'll just take a few minutes, but we'll get you grounded, we'll get your energy in good shape, and we'll set it up so that tonight you'll do some really powerful processing while you're sleeping. Okay, so lots to do. And if you're game, if you're on Zoom, go yes in the chat. Excellent. And let me just take a couple easy deep breaths. Let me just check something. I got a message here. So let me just make sure things are working okay. And just take a couple easy deep breaths while I check that out. That's all right. Somebody was saying they were having some kind of problem, so no, everything's working. So somebody put in the chat, people don't know how to get in. It is working on Facebook because I'm looking at it. All righty. I just wanted to double check that before we get into the work here. All right, so easy deep breaths. Let me explain what your miraculous self is, and we're going to create it. Your miraculous self is a concept unique to energetic NLP. So let it be its own unique thing. It was somebody in one of the London programs who studied with me a lot, and he kept calling the miraculous self your high self. I'm thinking, how many times do I have to tell you it's not your high self? Your high self is a whole different thing. So your miraculous self, let it just be its own unique concept, please. Most of you are good at that. Some people just have trouble with that. And to Melissa, you don't need to get into the Facebook Live because you're here. So if you check on your emails, it'll give you links to the Facebook page. But you're here, you don't need to go to Facebook. Okay. Your miraculous self, the reason behind it is I realized years ago that people's spirits we're not always working well with their soul, with their conscious mind, their unconscious mind, and their body. And we created a whole methodology called whole being permission that I'm not going to get into here. It's about aligning these different aspects of yourself. But for right now, just know that your spirit is not always aligned and is frequently not aligned with your inner wisdom. So you have a deep inner human wisdom and you have a spirit. Very often they're not aligned. They're not necessarily fighting each other, but very often they're not aligned. When they are aligned, those tend to be the areas of your life where things just click and go really smoothly most of the time. People use the word spirit to mean different things. So your spirit knows what it is. Your deep inner human wisdom knows what it is. And later, I'm going to be talking about your authentic essence. Your spirit knows what your authentic essence is. Your spirit knows what it is. Your deep inner human wisdom knows what it is. So you don't have to consciously figure it out. And when you try to consciously figure it out, you'll make it small. You'll put it in a box, and we don't want to do that. But just briefly, what I'm calling your spirit are the higher frequencies of your non-physical self. People use the word spirit to mean different things. I'm using it to mean the higher frequencies of your non-physical self. Higher not isn't superior, but literally higher frequencies. And that aspect of you at those higher frequencies is kind of like the perfect parent going, whatever you want, dear. Your spirit loves and cares about your human life and your human personality, but it sees this enormous big picture. I mean, it sees the unfolding of humanity. It sees the unfolding of the universe. It sees your place in it, whether you consciously ever even believe you have a place in it. Your spirit knows your place. I always like to say, there are no extra people. If you're on the planet, you're supposed to be here, or you wouldn't be here. We're all part of some vast unfolding. And people have always talked about the great mysteries, and this whole vast unfolding of the universe is one of these eternal great mysteries. But your spirit understands it. And because it has such a vast perspective, it tends to see a lot of things as valid spiritual paths. Again, it cares, it sees things as valid spiritual path. So to your spirit, if you get really sick, well, that's a valid spiritual path. If you're super healthy, that's another valid spiritual path. If you're thriving in turbulent times, that's a valid spiritual path. If you're struggling in turbulent times, that's a valid spiritual path. So your spirit has this vast perspective, but your deep inner human wisdom has a very practical, very human, very day-to-day perspective. So when your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom become aligned, you have the advantage of the vast perspective, but you also have that part of you that's going, well, I know that being sick or struggling or not feeling loved or not being healthy or having money problems is a valid spiritual path. But can we do this in a way that makes life more enjoyable? That makes life more satisfying and meaningful to me. So when they work together, you get the practicality of your human inner wisdom and the vast awareness of your spirit. And your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom know everything about your chakras and your energy field. So creating your miraculous self is really, really simple. You just set your intention, give permission for it to happen, and then the key thing in everything we do is use your imagination. For years, when I was learning energy and spiritual processes, I'd be trying to do it right and figure out, am I doing it right? Is it working? Is somebody else doing it better? Should I be doing it differently? That whole hamster wheel that we get into. When I finally discovered that when I let go of that and just imagined things were happening, things started happening much more smoothly. When you imagine things that are happening, you give your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom and your unconscious mind permission to open up vast potential inside of you. So whenever we're trying to figure out how to do it, and there's times when that's appropriate, but whenever we do that, we limit things. When you put your spirit and your unconscious mind in charge and just go and just pretend it's happening, imagine it's happening, you open this vast gate, this vast doorway for magic to happen, for the miracles to happen. Now, when I say imagine, pretend, you don't even have to believe it. You don't have to believe it. Like, say, I was a medical researcher for 11 years. I like skepticism, but you do need to imagine it. So when you were a child, you imagined things. You imagined, being a rock star, a dancer, a singer, an astronaut, whatever it is you imagine being. And you played little imaginary games, and you weren't going, is this true? You were just having fun. You were just imagining. During these processes, just imagine they're working. Just pretend they're working. Then later, you can analyze it to your heart's content. But while they're going on, just imagine they're happening. So imagine energies are coming in. Imagine your miraculous self is working with them. Imagine blocks and limitations are being dissolved. Imagine your chakras are being reprogrammed, and they will be. But later, you can analyze it to your heart's content. Okay, easy deep breaths. Okay, now imagine that your spirit, or set your intention, that your spirit and your deep inner human wisdom are going to form your miraculous self right now. Just imagine that. And give 100% permission for it to happen now. And just imagine that it's happening. I know it sounds like it can't be that easy, and it is that easy. And by the way, if your conscious mind is still analyzing everything, that's okay. Just be mindful of it. Don't fight it. Don't feed it. Turn down the volume and let it analyze in the background if it wants to. Okay, now just imagine that your miraculous self is formed, that it now exists. And give your miraculous self permission to be in charge of how you benefit during this session. Give it 100% permission to be in charge of what old blocks, beliefs, limitations get dissolved. Let it be 100% in charge of what they get replaced with. So as soon as the energy directed by your miraculous self dissolves old programming, whether it's energetic, spiritual, or unconscious, your miraculous self will immediately replace it with wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, and abilities from your miraculous self. So as the old blocks, the old limitations get dissolved, your miraculous self immediately replaces it with wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, and abilities from your miraculous self. And that works best if you let all of that happen outside of your consciousness. Set your intention that right now, we're going to bring energies in that will clear blocks to you thriving. Now, it might sound weird, like why would I have blocks to thriving? We have all kinds of unconscious, energetic, and spiritual programming. A lot of people have punishment energy, which is why I put that video up in the Facebook group. Tons of programming about that we were bad somehow and we should be punished. We have programming that we have to struggle, that it's more noble if you struggle. I mean, there's so much programming that like, oh, if things are easy, that's not noble. It's only noble if you suffer. In program that might not be worthy, might not be good enough. Programming that says, oh, if you're doing better, somebody else must be doing worse, or it's not okay for you to do better if somebody else isn't. And while it's wonderful to want to help other people, it's not so wonderful to hold ourselves back until everybody else can be with us. The more we open up to our amazing abilities, the more you reprogram your chakras, the better your life is, the more you can help other people. Okay. And so everything's intention, permission, putting your miraculous self in charge, and using your imagination. So imagine now a giant gold ball of energy, and we'll dissolve it at the end. And wherever you are in the world, and we're all over the world, imagine you're inside this gold ball of energy. And that's our reprogramming your chakras to thrive in turbulent times, space. And let's just imagine it's a space of miracles. It's a space of effortlessness. It's a space where it's easy to let go of old limiting blocks and programming. It is a space where it's easy for your miraculous self to replace the old blocks, beliefs, and programming with wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, and abilities from your miraculous self. Let's imagine this is a space where you all feel loved, acknowledged, supported, cared for, significant, nurtured. Okay, set your intention. What we're about to do is going to start clearing and healing two sets of blocks. One are blocks to thriving. The other are blocks to reprogramming your chakras. And you're going to put your miraculous self in charge, so you don't need to know what the programming is, whether it's energetic, unconscious, spiritual. Your miraculous self will figure that all out, and it will figure out what to replace it with. So we're going to clear blocks to thriving, blocks to reprogram your chakras so that you can thrive. And we're not necessarily going to get everything at one fell swoop. One of the advantages for those of you that are getting the videos is you can go over these videos again in the future and keep taking it deeper and broader and wider. But we will get a significant amount right now. And over the next 4 days, we'll keep clearing more of it. So take an easy, deep breath. Remind yourself this is a place of no effort. It's a spa. Your job at a spa is to relax and be nurtured and healed. Set your intention that what we're doing now is going to clear, heal, and revise blocks to thriving and blocks to reprogramming your chakras so that you can thrive. You have 100% permission for that to happen. So again, the role of your conscious mind here is intention and permission. Give 100% permission for your miraculous self to be in charge. Easy deep breaths. Now imagine a whole symphony of energies is coming in, a whole symphony of transformative energies. Your miraculous self will decide which energies it wants to use. It'll decide which blocks it's going to dissolve, heal, revise, replace. Blocks, programming. Okay, just let it happen. Easy deep breaths. Remember, no effort, just allowing. Easy deep breaths. Easy deep breaths. Okay, let that energy begin to wind down. Now we're bringing energies to help you process and integrate what you just did. Okay, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and lightly move and stretch a little bit. Stomp your feet, pat your body. And if you have any quick comments about your experience, feel free to put it in either the Facebook chat or in the Zoom. So Julie's saying, I'm curious, when sitting, are the chakras under your spine or your feet? These are under your feet. They're, I mean, if you were lying down, they'd be below your body. But if you're sitting or standing, they'd be below your feet. Well, actually, let me say that. When you're lying down, I guess when you're lying down, they'd still be below your feet. Sorry about that. Yeah. So they're always, if you think of a space beneath your feet going down about a meter, 3 feet for most people, that'll there'll be chakras in that space. If that's what you were asking. Glenn saying that felt really good. Breen, I seem to go so deep, I feel like I'm asleep for some of it. Yeah, I should have mentioned that before. I work with a lot of high frequency energies along with the other energies. They put you in a dreamy state. And that's deliberate because in that dreamy state, it's easy to clear old blocks and limitations. It's easy for your inner wisdom, your unconscious mind, and your spirit to work together. And often people after process go, I'm not sure if I was awake, I'm not sure if I was asleep. And even if you did fall asleep, it's fine. Once you've set your intention and given permission, your miraculous self can still hear me. So it's still gonna do everything. Terry, very peaceful and etheric. Loved it. Thank you. You're welcome. So, Bream, yeah, that's great. It's not only okay, it's great. Nandini, the energies seem to clear layers and layers of energies that do not serve. Thank you, Art. You're welcome. Joe's saying, thanks. If lying down, chakras under feet aligned with spine or down toward ground. You know, for right now, I wouldn't even worry about it. Just have your miraculous self figure it out. For what we're doing here, the less you think about it, the better. Just be clear you want your miraculous self to be working with them. Okay, so now we're going to do just a quick meditation. We'll do more tomorrow, working with the root chakra at the base of your spine, the chakras in the legs and feet, which there's lots of them, and then going beneath your feet, the three lower outer body chakras. They, again, have a lot to do with your connection to the earth, to plant life, to animal life. And again, our goal here is that, there's a lot of goals, to be more connected to the earth, to be more grounded, to have more support from life. Your root chakra at the base of the spine has a lot to do with your connection to physical reality and whether you can dance with the unfolding of life or whether you struggle, whether you can receive help. There's also a level in which we connect to other bodies from those lower chakras. So just as the higher chakras are not completely individual, they get less and less completely individual. Below kind of the root chakra and below it, you're also connecting into kind of the universal human body, if you will. But anyways, I shouldn't have gotten into that, but just to intrigue you. So take a couple easy, deep breaths, relax, set your intention that the energy, and we'll do a lot more with these chakras tomorrow, but we're going to start clearing, healing, reprogramming, and activating your root chakra, the chakras in your legs and feet, and the three chakras below your feet. In particular, open up to letting the physical world nurture and support you. So it'll be doing more than that, but opening up to letting the physical world, which also is energetic, by the way, and also has consciousnesses, you're letting that whole level of help come in. Some of you, will relate to the idea of elementals and devas and a lot of different ideas. But a lot of different things can connect in at that level to help you. And your miraculous self is making sure that you're opening up to that help in a way that serves you. So take another easy, deep breath, and we're just going to take a few minutes on this. You have 100% permission for the energies to heal, clear, activate, reprogram the chakra at the base of your spine, the chakras in the legs, feet, toes, soles of your feet, and the chakras below your feet. Give 100% permission for your miraculous self to be in charge. And then just imagine, pretend energies are coming in now to heal, clear, and activate all those chakras. Somebody mentioned sitting cross-legged. I don't recommend you do that for what we're doing. That cuts off the lower chakras. So we want to have your energy field more open. Remember, no effort, just allowing, permission and allowing. Easy deep breaths. Let's bring in energies now to help you process and integrate what you just did. We have just a few things to do that are important that we can do pretty quick to finish up for today. One is, if you're doing anything after the session that requires safety, set your intention and give permission for your miraculous self and your unconscious mind to make sure you're grounded, safe, and alert. Grounded, safe, and alert. Grounded, safe, and alert. So your unconscious mind and your miraculous self will turn down the processing and make sure you're grounded, safe, and alert. Then tonight, when you're sleeping, my suggestion is give permission for your unconscious mind and your miraculous self to work together. One of the things that happens when we sleep is our unconscious mind processes everything that happened during the day. It reviews the day. So set your intention and give permission that tonight, when you're sleeping, your unconscious mind will be processing the day, but it will work with your miraculous self. And your miraculous self will infuse it with wisdom, knowledge, concepts, skills, and abilities from your miraculous self. So it will infuse it with concepts, wisdom, knowledge, skills, abilities, and attitudes from your miraculous self. It'll take what you did in this session, make it deeper, richer, wider. It'll make it higher and more multidimensional. And most importantly, while you're sleeping, the benefits will automatically be integrated into your mind, your emotions, your body, and your energy field. So that while you sleep soundly, deeply, and wake up feeling refreshed, while you're sleeping, the benefits will be integrated into your mind, emotions, body, and energy field. And that can happen easily, naturally, while you sleep soundly, deeply, and wake up feeling refreshed. And that it can happen tonight and after each program. Okay, easy, deep breaths. There's just a couple more quick things before we finish for today. I'll say thank you, so don't forget to do that. Pleasure to be with all of your energy. And again, this video will be on the Facebook page for at least 24 hours. And then and that'll be the same for the other ones too, though we'll leave this one a little longer. And if you want to put any comments in either the Facebook chat or the Zoom chat about your experiences, that's really great. When you do energetic NLP energy spas, your energy field becomes more authentic. So right now there's more space in your energy field. Give your miraculous self permission to fill you up with more of your authentic essence and with earth and universal energies that will support you now and in thriving. Now, your miraculous self knows what your authentic essence is, so just let it be in charge. Give 100% permission now for your miraculous self to completely fill your body, your cells, your organs, your DNA, your chakras, your energy channels, and your energy field with more of your authentic essence and with earth and universal energies that will support you now and in the future. And then let's dissolve our gold ball, our group energy space. And it's very, very, very important that you retrieve your energy out of everybody's space, particularly mine. And we all need to get our energy out of your space. If you don't do that, you'll be depleted and it's not good for other people. So it's simple. Just ask your miraculous self now to pull your energy back out of everybody else's space and return it to you. If some of that energy came from you, but it really isn't yours, it goes into the earth and the earth will recycle it. But your authentic energy all comes back to you and the rest goes into the earth. So now that your energy field is more authentic, it is different. And sometimes people and even pets notice on the inner level, they know something's different and it can kind of throw them off. And there's an easy way to take care of that. And we call those spiritual emails. So you've all received emails that say, hey, I have a new email address. I'm not at that old one anymore. I'm at this one. They're not asking for your permission or approval. They're just telling you, I'm not at the old address anymore. Spiritual emails let me try that again. Spiritual emails are showing people what your energy field looks like now. You're not looking for approval or permission. You're just informing them. Give your miraculous self permission to send out spiritual emails to everybody in your life, showing them what your energy looks like now. Include your pets, your plants, and include the people you haven't met yet that your spirit wants you to meet. Maybe include people from the past that your spirit wants you to reconnect with. And begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, stomp your feet, pat your body. It's a really good idea to stand up and at least lightly stretch because your physical body and your energy body are intertwined. When your energy body realigns, your physical body wants to realign too. It's hard to do if you don't move. Now you can do something vigorous if you're, used to that, but at least just some light, easy stretching, walking around when we're done. Be sure to drink water. It's not too late for people to join us. You all have the link to sign up. I can put it in the chat again right now, if anybody wants it. Yeah, people can still join us even through Wednesday because they can catch up on the videos. So I would consider it a great favor if you let other people know about this. I want to help as many people as I can. And each day is going to really build. So we're going to, the work will get stronger each day. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how much better you'll be thriving after these 4 days. So thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this. I'm going to end the recording. You can still put things in the chat if you'd like. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, either live or in the recording. Oh, let me just say, if you're ever watching a recording, imagine it's happening right now while you're watching it, and you'll access all the energies. I've been doing this for decades and it works. Okay, thank you all so much.